Welcome to Inside the Practice, your go-to podcast for stories, tips, and insights from professionals helping dental practices thrive. Hosted by Alan Hollander and Sarah Boylan, and sponsored by ePractice Manager. Enjoy the episode.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Inside the Practice, where we bring you actionable insights in the world of dentistry and beyond. Hello to my co-host, Sarah Boylan. Sarah brings 25 years of, you'd never know it, practice management expertise to our podcast. Great to have you here, Sarah. We got a wonderful guest today, Anthony Penketh. Anthony is special to us because he's family and part of our company, part of ePractice Manager. He's got a really very interesting history, parts of which he's going to share with you, and certainly share the wisdom that he has gained over those years, accomplishing some major tasks. Anthony was the chief marketing officer, and you can correct me on any of this and fill in the holes, Anthony.
Sure.
He was the chief marketing officer and head of sales for a company called ClearCorrect. ClearCorrect was an orthodontic appliance company, and Anthony was instrumental in bringing that company from, 500 users, 500 offices that were using the orthodontic system to over 10,000. And he was involved in selling that company to Straumann, who purchased it some time ago for a very tidy sum. And we're very lucky to have him here at ePractice Manager now as our new Vice President of Business Development. So Anthony, great to have you here.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, I'm really excited to be here. This is the future looks amazing. And I'm looking forward to sharing some nuggets with everyone because, I've learned a lot over the years. It's been a lot of fun.
Yes, I do understand that. Anthony's also been involved, spent several years working in practice management as well.
That's right.
So, let's dive into what you were the area that you were involved in, Anthony, for so many years, particularly at ClearCorrect. Patient viewpoint, understanding what the patient thinks, paralleling that, and speaking to that is so important in marketing. Talk to us a little bit about why taking the patient's point of view is so essential.
Yeah, one of the first things that I did when I worked at ClearCorrect was took the viewpoint of the customer. Who's going to use us? And so and it's really, this is the truth for any company, any business. You just simply take the viewpoint of, well, who do you want calling you? Who do you want to service? And then take their viewpoint. So what I did was I took the viewpoint that I was a dentist and I was going to be, looking for an aligner, a clear aligner laboratory to work with. And I started surveying, asking questions. I think I surveyed a couple hundred dentists to find out, what do they want when it comes to a clear aligner manufacturer? What are they looking for? And so I got all the answers. Mm-hmm. And so what I did is I took all the answers and I tabulated them. And then I shared that with the dentist. I said, this is what we do. Mm-hmm. And it was amazing. We got so many responses because what we provided was what they're looking for. So it's the same thing with a dental office. Mm-hmm. You find out, what are the patients that you want to service? And then you find out, well, what's specific about that? Why does that patient choose your office? And then you provide that. You say, well, this is what we do. And so, I think taking the viewpoint that you are the customer is so important, because then you know what they want. You know why they're reaching. And you can then shift your marketing to show that you provide that.
Yeah, that's excellent. That's excellent. the subject of surveying, I know we're going to talk about that a little bit, but it's so overlooked.
Yeah.
Market research is completely misunderstood, and I think it boils down a great deal to exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. In fact, most people just do shotgun marketing, where they're just kind of deciding on their own bat what do they want to say, and they just say it, and no regards for who's listening or who they want. They're just doing what they think is best instead of listening to find out what's needed.
Precisely. And just to clarify, shotgun marketing is, if that's perhaps unclear, when you shoot a shotgun, sometimes the shot is very broad and it sprays out very broadly, as opposed to a single shot, which goes to a very specific target. And we see, as you know, Anthony, Sarah, you know this too, we see doctors doing that type of marketing all the time and wasting a lot of money, frankly. Just throwing out a lot of money.
Tons.
Yeah. So go ahead, Sarah. Was something you wanted to add?
Well, yeah, actually, I was just thinking about the importance of surveys from the patient's perspective, right? So most of the time, or a lot of the times I've come across at the end of the appointment is when we are gathering surveys to kind of get the patient experience. How do you feel like an office can take that information and really kind of redirect it on their marketing? You kind of just touched on it on a broader scale, but can you pinpoint? And then also, what about a specialty practice like a perio, an ortho, or an oral surgery?
Oh, sure. I think an actionable item that I would say do right now is survey your existing patients and find out, well, why did they choose your practice? What was it that made you want to go, yes, I'm going to come visit this office? And so then you can use that, because maybe you're not using the right words, because you may, and the thing about surveying is you want to do enough surveys, because eventually you're going to find the same words being used to describe the reason why they came in. So maybe specialty offices, doing implants or veneers or whatever, you're going to hear the same words being used over and over again. You can then use that in your website, in your marketing, because then you're basically giving back out what people want. And so I think an immediate actionable item is, survey your existing patients right now once they're done. And then you can also use that to find out, well, where could you improve? What are you not doing that you thought you were, but you're really not, And so that's very important, because only then, by honest reviews, you can actually improve and take things to another level.
Yeah, I think feedback loops are super important. And then taking it a step level, going back to as a specialty practice, our target market is the referring doctors, not the general public.
Right.
So taking those types of questions and surveys to the general dentist, saying, hey, what do you want in an endo office or an OMS office? How can we provide that? That's awesome. That's a really good.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If you're a specialty practice, that's the survey you do right now. Who are the general dentists who are referring to you? Why? What do you like? What could be improved? And then you can take that survey, and then you can let other general dentists who are not referring to you, let them know. And they're gonna be like, oh, okay, good. These guys do this X, Y, and Z. That's what I'm looking for. So the surveys are completely underutilized, most of the time not utilized at all.
Most of the time, that's right.
And yet it's the first thing you need to do in order to make sure you're actually getting a response.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. The default, again, something we see all the time, is a doctor lacking experience or know-how in this area, which is not shocking. Doctors don't have MBAs in marketing, and it's not a subject that necessarily discussed, as well as their office managers. So the default is, I'm going to hire a good website company, or I hope they're good. Price is Right, and they're going to do my SEO.
Mm-hmm.
That encapsulates and really defines what most people consider marketing, and they're just missing these fundamentals. If they can just dictate this and tell their marketing companies, this is what I need you to find this out for me, or here's the information that we have, it would change things tremendously.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you're talking, and Sarah, you kind of alluded to this as well. You're talking about aligning messaging, aligning the practice's message with what patients actually value.
Yes.
What they trust.
Yep. Exactly.
And is there a specific software platform you specifically like to use, or do you feel like they're all good? SurveyMonkey and all the other ones out there.
I have used SurveyMonkey before, and yeah, I would say any platform that gets you the answers the quickest, because in volume you've got to do. But I did a lot of. I would go to all the dental conventions, and I would do a ton of surveys in person.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually the best way, but it's volume that you're looking for. However you can get it the fastest is what you want to do.
Yeah.
I love filling out surveys. I fill out every survey that comes through my email. I'm a sucker for them, because how do people know? Like, how do they know to make those changes and that growth? That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then I guess what about internal marketing with surveys? Like, what about your staff, and trying to get those referrals and the getting the people that from just your staff members out there talking to the people that they know to refer people to the office. Do you have any tips for that?
Well, yeah, I think, again, with any business, when you are running a business, you want feedback from your staff. You want to know, hey, what are we doing that's working? And what do we need to do to improve things? What do you suggest? Because the person who's got the best viewpoint is the person who's like right there in the action, right at the front,
Mm-hmm.
dealing with the patients. And so I think that's super important. But I do want to mention one thing about taking the viewpoint and surveying. One of the things I suggest you do right now, anyone listening who's like got whatever kind of practice it is, you should call the practice and pretend you're a patient and see what happens. I've done this with every business I've been part of. I've pretended that I was the client, and I would call, and you'll be surprised as to what happens. Let me tell you, out of 100 offices that I've called in the not too recent, in the recent past, guess how many actually did it correctly? They answered the phone correctly and asked the 4 key questions. 2 out of 100. 2 out of 100. So it just shows you, but that's because not enough people are taking the viewpoint of the actual customer, of the actual, patient or whoever's calling, and seeing what happens. Because a lot of times there's always room for improvement. And a lot of times when you call the dental offices in particular, they need training, they need some help. And that's a simple thing you can do right now is, well, how are they answering the phones? Let's call them. Let's find out, or have your friend call and see what happens. And then you can make some adjustments right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Couple of things that you've just sort of really clicked on in my mind. Many practices now, particularly with all of the software available, realize they need to gather reviews.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I go on sites right now and I see companies, dental offices, and all kinds of businesses that have many reviews. Some people are very good at capturing them. We're talking 100, 200 reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very useful information.
Yeah.
If you read through those reviews, you're going to find common denominators.
Yes.
You're going to find the things that people do like about you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great source of survey information.
Oh, incredibly valuable. And your comment about employees that you asked about, Sarah, and Anthony, that you touched on. So true. Listening to the employees, just getting feedback from them. What are the patients saying?
Yeah.
Because we have all of this data sitting right there for us to use. It's incredibly valuable information.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now, what are the 4 questions?
The 4 questions? Well, yeah, what's your name?
Right?
You'd be surprised how many times someone calls, you don't get their name.
Yes.
And in case the phone drops, what's a good number to call you back at?
Yes, good.
Phone number. And how'd you hear about us?
Mm-hmm.
What was it particular? Because if you don't know why the phone rang, you're not going to know which area to reinforce with more marketing. Something's clearly working. They called. Well, what was it that made them call? You got to find out.
Yeah.
And by the way, the person on the phones who's answering needs to know what marketing is being done, so that way they can then really, oh, that was an organic search, or oh, that was our Instagram ad that you saw. Okay, great. And then a correct tabulation can be done of all the incoming calls. And the 4th thing is, well, what's the problem? Well, how can I help you? Why are you calling today?
Yeah.
You see, you've got to find that out and really care about the person and find out what's happening. They're not calling to make a friend. They're calling because they need something, that they need some help. And so you got to find out, well, what's going on? How can I help you?
Yeah.
And get all the details. Those are the 4 things. And unfortunately, most times, like I said, only 2 out of the last 100 calls do they get all 4 of those.
Yeah.
And go for scheduling an appointment.
That's alarming. That's pretty alarming.
It is. It is. It's amazing.
Well, we do surveys where we do shopper calls for all of our clients, all of our new clients, when we analyze their practices.
Yes.
Excuse me. We do shopper calls, and my gosh, we've done many, many, many hundreds of them by now. And it is pretty interesting and amazing that the things that are left out and omitted are a little startling,
Right.
Like, for example, trying to schedule the patient.
Mm-hmm. Minor detail.
Minor detail, yeah.
Well, and not just that, to piggyback off it, it's what I have found what's kind of alarming too is not transferring trust to the provider, the doctor, right? Like they're calling to schedule the appointment with the doctor, if somebody's got a lot of anxiety or whatnot, it's so important just to have that, 30-second conversation about what a great provider this is, how you're going to be comfortable in our office. And we've got all these tools that we're instruments of, I can't call them instruments, but we've got these things we can do to help make you more comfortable,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, that's so true. That's important. Yeah.
Let me ask you about, there are so many different avenues, Anthony, for marketing now.
Yeah.
So many ways to do it. You can spend pennies and you can spend hundreds of thousands. Let's talk a little bit about building credibility with multi-channel marketing, which I'm a very big believer in.
Yeah.
The more avenues, the more outreach, the better. Well, why should practices not rely on a single marketing channel?
That's a great question. And the thing is, times change. If you're just relying on, like I know one company, they were relying purely on organic search because of the SEO that they had done in the past, the search engine optimization. But then all of a sudden the algorithm changes. Mm-hmm. And now when they were at the top, now they're down and they're not getting the calls. So if you had some other campaigns and other angles being done, other markets, Facebook, Instagram, all the variety, then you're not just stuck on this one avenue. And sometimes it takes seeing your message a few different places and you're like, oh, wait, okay, this this practice is for real because I saw them here and I saw them here, and now I've just seen them there. Yeah, okay, I'm going to call them. And so it's very important not to just focus on one, but have a multiple. So that way, if anything does fall off, you've got all these other ones still going.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like building a foundation so it's not weak. But if you build a foundation on one pillar that's gone, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just what I've observed, and I've known to be true. You want to have multiple avenues.
Yeah. Well, I think the one thing that I have learned over the years that is really the most tried and proven piece of information that always works, and marketing is historically grossly underestimated in terms of the amount, in terms of the volume that you need.
Yeah.
And how often have we heard, we did that. We sent out a mailing. Oh, yes. Oh, no. Yes, we've done that. We sent out a mailing. That's like not doing it at all.
Right.
We also know that it takes at least 3 touches, repeated touches, to even get somebody's attention. We know that. And we know that it's really, and let's face it, advertisers do this all the time. Companies do it. They just throw dollars.
Mm-hmm.
They throw hundreds of millions of dollars in massive campaigns, and sheer volume alone works.
Yeah.
They're just saturating the market. Now, you have to be smarter when you don't have resources like that, but this multi-channel approach is really says it.
It is so important. And just because something didn't work, your marketing can be off just a little bit.
Yeah.
And it won't work. And so you have to test, and you have to but if you take a look at it and you really have the viewpoint of the consumer, and you really take that, and then like I did this recently. I looked at a piece of promotion because they said, "Oh, we did a mailer," and I said, "Can I see that mailer that you sent out?" And I saw it. I'm like, "Okay, now I know why you didn't get response, because it was missing so many things."
Mm-hmm.
And and so you can miss just by a little bit, and it's enough to make a difference. So not only do you have to have multiple channels going, but the marketing has to be done correctly.
Yes.
Like with the right message, with the right, it's a whole technology.
Yes.
And consistency is so key. Just
without a doubt. Without a doubt.
There.
It's the regularity, Sarah. There's no question about it.
Yep.
I have a very close friend I've known for many years. He's been in the mass mailing business for a couple of decades. Very good at it. He's a real guru in the business. And whenever I have a question about a mailer of some type or messaging, I always run it by him.
Yeah.
He impressed upon me many years ago that whenever you are going to try a new marketing method, you always test a small amount.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Your marketing company might say, we need to do this, we need to do this. No, you test it out with small numbers. And if nothing happens, you test something else. And then you get a few responses on something, you go, okay, and you increase that. But your point on testing is so important.
Yeah, and that's, in fact, we did that, at ClearCorrect. We would always test a different marketing, and I would keep track of it, like detailed, because, and then we would know exactly what worked, and then we'd turn on the volume.
Yeah.
I mean, it's when you really, really look at the whole thing and look at the details of, what made that phone ring, now you know what you can turn the volume on, what's working. So you're right, testing, but a lot of marketing companies, unfortunately, don't really do that too well. So you'll be stuck in a year contract paying a lot of money and be like, where's the testing? Where's the testing?
Yeah. Well, Sarah, I'll just say this one point, but this is why we know that you don't have to be an expert in marketing. What are we talking about here? Incredibly simple concepts.
Yes.
If utilized properly, you can dictate and guide your marketing company, and they'll do it much more effectively just with a few of these basics.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely the next conversation I want to dive into. I mean, let's talk reality here. I mean, these doctors are busy. They're treating patients, they're managing a staff, they're trying to get home to their families in the evenings. What about marketing partnerships? And what do we look for when you're trying to find somebody to connect with to kind of take that off of the doctor's plate? What do you think?
What I would suggest is that they work with a company that's not going to stick them in a long-term contract.
Okay.
One, because they need to have freedom. Like if it doesn't work, you don't want to be stuck in a marriage you can't get rid of. And I hear this so many times where, they're stuck and they can't do anything about it. And now they got to wait 6 more months paying all this money and, to get out. So I would suggest, before you move forward with any marketing company, make sure that it's not a long-term agreement. Because just like you mentioned, Alan, you got to test things out and don't agree to an exorbitant budget.
Yeah.
Agree to ramping it up as you figure out what's working. And so you want to work with a company that's flexible.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is that a lot of them are not flexible because they know that they're going to get churned. They are going to lose customers. Yes. And so that's why they lock them in for a year, because they're going to lose customers. Well, I don't agree with that. And so I would say, no, if you're going to lock me in for a year, forget it.
Yeah.
But so flexibility for me is the most important. And if they truly know what they're doing, they're going to earn their business and you're not going to want to leave anyway.
Exactly.
Because they know what they're doing.
Great point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I ran into not long ago a doctor, a newer practitioner. We were chatting. She got locked into a contract with a very large, well-known company, and it just wasn't providing the return. She was way oversold. She couldn't afford it, and she was locked into the contract. They wouldn't let her out of it.
Yeah.
We managed to help her out, and she actually did become a client of our firms. But you really do have to be cautious about that.
Yeah. And then even before that, though, I would say get an evaluation to see where the holes, because most of the time there's holes. You don't even want to be adding a ton of marketing until you handle the training on the front end.
Sure. So finding marketing partners that are supportive and flexible. I would say probably just getting out there and interviewing companies and talking to your colleagues about, what companies they have worked with and what's worked for them. What about any other more practical takeaways for practices as far as marketing goes?
I'll give you something right now that anyone can use and anyone can do right now, which is, take the viewpoint of the patient for these practices. And have a friend, go on their phone and just say, dentist near me, and see what comes up. Mm-hmm. Does your practice actually come up? Yes. And then does your friend choose your practice? If they don't, why not? Mm-hmm. And so again, it's kind of like when you shop on Amazon. Like Sarah, do you shop on Amazon?
Oh, of course.
Well, what's the first thing you're going to look at? If you find, you're looking for this, and there's 5 of them, they look exactly the same. What are you going to look at next?
Go to the reviews.
Exactly. You're going to go to the review. So that's the first thing, is like, do you have, more reviews than all your competition? Because if you don't, that's step number 1. What's the next thing you look at after you look at number of reviews? What do you look at next, Sarah?
For me, price point.
Price point? But also, do you look at the quality with it's like 4 stars or 4.9?
Yes.
Right? So then that's the next thing. So right now, look at your practice. what is it? Do you have 4.9? Do you have 4.0, 3.9, or are you 5-star? But let me tell you something, 5 stars, you know, a lot of people by survey think that that's kind of not really genuine, you know, so you
How
want to get a
interesting.
lot of reviews, but 4.9 is actually 4.8, 4.9. That's the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Because then,
Interesting.
because people believe it. It's like, yeah, because no one's perfect, you
Yeah.
know. And I wouldn't say go try and find a 1-star. They're gonna happen because this is life, and
Yeah.
But 4.8. But that's what you want to do. Take a look, and then another thing that you can do very simple, and you can have the office manager do this. Take more pictures and upload them into your Google My Business profile because that's free. Doesn't cost anything. And yet, what do you see right now? If you have your friend scroll and go dentist near me, they're going to find the reviews, the quality, but they're also going to look at the pictures of the practice. And what are they going to see? Right now, I tell you, a majority of the time, you're going to see empty offices and snow cone machines, which is what the patient thinks it is. Right? They don't know what these things are. So you got to take their viewpoint. And what I would suggest they do right now is take pictures with happy people in the office,
Yes.
not someone in a mouth. No, get rid of those pictures. Yeah, people don't want to see that. They want to see, celebration, happy, before and afters. So that's free stuff that they can do right now, and that their office manager can take some, shots and upload it and start filling the Google My Business with free stuff.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent point. I think also, making sure that every staff member is trained up to be able to ask for Google reviews. I mean, it's QR codes, in the operatory, scan here to write your review, like what,
You're
or
right.
on your way out the door. And of course,
it's so easy.
Yeah. So, but I think if you're not comfortable, definitely getting that training in place to make you comfortable to ask.
Oh, you're right, Sarah. That's it, and it's not hard to do, but you're right. They need a little bit of training. Say, this is how you do it. This is how you ask for a review. Simple. But those are like some simple things that any doctor can do and their team can put in place pretty quickly.
It's almost a little bit too simple.
Right.
And that's why I think that these things get overlooked. They get overlooked all the time. It's unfortunate, but it's these simple things that are so powerful and that can have so much impact. I'm interested. You mentioned Google My Business. I'm interested in just to talk about that a little bit, Anthony,
Sure.
and utilizing that properly.
So Google My Business is the most important listing service because it's the first thing. When you type up dentist near me, what you're seeing is the Google My Business listing. You're seeing the name of the practice, the address, the hours, the map, the location. It's going to show you the reviews, the quality reviews. And that is something, and believe it or not, some practice owners don't even take a minute to claim it. First, you got to claim it. And the reason why you want to claim it is because anyone, and this is crazy, anyone can go on there and make an edit of that Google My Business listing. They can say permanently closed. They can move the location. And if you haven't claimed your Google My Business, then you're not going to get the alert that says that it has been, that a change was made. And did you authorize this? And you go, no, I didn't. So it's very important. Google My Business, it's a listing. It's free. And you can use it right now. It doesn't cost you a dime, and it is there. So you've got to take advantage of it. Make sure the address is right. I tell you, I've seen a number of these that they don't have the map correct, where you're actually going to the wrong location. And so
yes, happens all the time.
Right.
I drove to one. I've driven to a couple, the wrong address.
Right. And so the owner then goes in, who you claim it, you can then fix it and put the dot where it should be. And so you can edit it. And so you can make the changes, but also, it has happened where someone could have gone in and a competition might have said, delete, close for business. I actually know where this happened one time, where the phone stopped ringing.
That's terrible.
And it turned out that someone had marked them as closed and they didn't catch it.
Oh, no.
And so they had to then get it all undone and stuff. But man, it's nowadays you really gotta be on this stuff.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, but that's the Google My Business little,
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enormously powerful and helpful resource, and cheap.
Yes.
Doesn't cost nothing.
Right.
Let's talk longer term strategies here. We talk to people a lot about their marketing strategic plan, building credibility across multiple platforms. Give us your thoughts on that, Anthony.
It depends on where you are. Like if you're a brand new scratch practice, well, then you're going to have to be doing a lot more different things, going out to events, meeting your local schools, and there's a lot of actions that you're going to want to do out there. If you've got an existing practice, then there's all kinds of internal marketing and external marketing. So internal is your existing patient base that you've already serviced. They need to be promoted to. The successes that you're having, the new services that you're doing. That's a continuous campaign on all different aspects. Even, now with the football season, you should be having things on for referral games and so forth. Invite a friend. There's so much opportunity with your existing database for internal marketing. And then there's external. So the patients you don't have that you want to get. And so this is where the longer term is, where you want to do search engine optimization. You want to get the links. You want to get your sites connected with others and so forth. And that is, longer term. And then you can grow organically, and you've got, but just like anything, you've got to pay attention to it. You've got to look at the details, know what's working and know what's not working.
Yes.
And so if you're really paying attention, which is why every office should be having these monthly meetings with marketing and reviewing, where did we get all of our patients from this last month?
Absolutely.
What were the sources exactly? And what did it cost us? And they're going to go, wait a minute, I just spent, $2,000 on this and I got nothing from there. Okay, let's change that.
How many times have we had the conversation, which I've had many, many times in the past as well, about clients who are spending regularly X number of thousands of dollars a month. And we look at their new patient flow and it's on a gradual decline for the same period of time.
Yeah.
What are they doing?
Yeah.
They're, what you're talking about in terms of using the information and doing something with it is so key to making it work properly.
Yeah. It just takes a little bit more organization. Just put it in the schedule, put a little meeting in the schedule once a month, and let's look at the details.
There you go, man.
Completely worth it. It's completely worth it.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Great insights, Anthony. Really, really like this. It's so fundamental. And we've all seen how it works when it's done properly.
Yeah.
Final advice?
Final advice is, really take a moment and for all the dental practices, be a customer. Just be a customer. Go in the bar, walk in the practice, like drive up to the practice as if you've never seen it before. Do you see a sign? How are you greeted? What does it look like? What does the space look like? Is it clean? Is it aesthetic? If you really take a moment and truly look in the eyes of your potential customers, your potential patients, you're going to see all the things that you need to adjust, and it really is that simple.
Yeah. Good, man.
Yeah.
Could not agree with you more. Anthony, as if I don't know the answer to this question, how can listeners find you?
They
want to get more of these pearls of wisdom. How do they contact you?
It's very simple. It's Anthony at epracticemanager.com.
Ah, yes, sounds familiar. Very good. Yes, that'll be on a crawl under the on this podcast as soon as we publish it next week.
Good. Yeah, I'm happy to help. I mean, it's I really enjoy the area because it's so fun and
Yes.
it's so dynamic and it is a lot of fun. So I'd be glad to help anyone who wants to reach out.
Absolutely, absolutely. As we will as well. Sarah, anything you care to say to wrap us up here?
No, that was fantastic. Anthony, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come and chat with us about it. Great conversation. And it was fun.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. This is it's been great.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody. Alan Hollander from ePractice Manager and Inside the Practice signing off. See you next time. Take care.
Thanks for joining us on Inside the Practice, sponsored by ePractice Manager. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. See you next time.